This is the Sacred Rebels Community Podcast. I'm Melissa, and I'm going to be the one hosting the first episode and most of the episodes going forward. But this podcast is meant for community. It's meant for bringing people together. Although we've all grown up differently, we all look different, we've all been through different traumas. We've all been through things that have shaped us into who we are right now. But we're not so disconnected like we think. And the point of this podcast is bring people together to talk about their stories, to talk about random stuff, just to bring people together, because that's what we should be doing, is being a community, being a tribe. The human race is the human race, and that's how we should see it. Obviously, there's going to be certain circumstances that divide, and I totally get that. I'm not naive. I know, I understand. But even with that naive approach of saying that we're not so disconnected, that we are so beautifully designed, and nature, God, like we are all so connected. Animals, insects, the fungi, organisms, all of it. We are so connected. So stay tuned. Our first episode today is going to be about surrenderism, letting go. What is it? So my perspective on it, and we're all allowed to have our own definitions of anything. I mean, honestly, like words don't even, what's the meaning behind words? I mean, people just kind of created that, and thankful for words and being able to communicate, but truly words don't mean anything. They just make sounds, and we're able to understand each other in that way. And a lot of people misuse words, jokingly say certain things, and I'm like, whoa. Ooh, I don't know. Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there in the universe, please, because that's kind of rough. People don't really think about it, and they may think that's woo-woo, whatever, but, you know, honestly, it's not. Because what we put out into the world, what we put out into the universe, it comes back to us. And there's universal laws that just show that, you know, we're going to be kind to others, we're going to receive that back. That's what I've been learning, is to just, I mean, that ties into surrenderism. And my definition of that would just be the devotion of letting go and being free. Just be. Just be. Be in the moment, letting go. I mean, even right here, right now, like in the metro parks where I'm at, it's just so beautiful. And taking in the sunlight and the wind in the trees, just being. Just being. I mean, we don't have to define everything. We don't have to have explanations for everything. It is so exhausting. And I used to be that way for so long. And, you know, I catch myself time and time again. And I'm not here to preach that I'm perfect by any means, because I'm far from perfect. I'm learning something new every day. But I am willing to, you know, admit my mistakes and, you know, say I want to grow. I want to be in a place where I'm constantly learning to be a better person, a better version of myself. The soul in the skin suit, you know, like I want to speak my truth, my perspective, and see if other people can connect. I mean, what I say may not connect with everyone, and that's okay. Then, you know, ta-ta, so long, like it's big hike. I mean, people are gonna make fun of you no matter what you do. What is she doing up there? Or what are they doing up there? What is he doing? Blah, blah, blah. But, you know, let them judge from afar, deflect. Like, think of yourself as like having a shield up and just deflecting that negativity, because we're all going to pass on at some point, and we're all going to be in our own, you know, plots. Or if you decide to get cremated, one with the wind, or if you decide you want to be a plant and soil, you become a tree. I mean, whatever, like we're all going to be passing on eventually. And it just came to me quite recently that giving in to this beautiful life that we were given, it has to be now. You have to get out of the mindset of thinking in the future, thinking about the past. I mean, that's how I see it. I've been so wrapped up and dragged down about things that I've done or things that I've said. I should have said it this way, or, you know, I can't help but think about what could happen and all this stuff. And it just takes you away from the power of now. I mean, right now in this moment, in each moment, taking it and surrendering to that, that's so powerful, to be free and to give in to now. Because that's all we have. That's all that's guaranteed, is right now. Past is already past. It's all these creations that we come up with in our head about what could be, all these different timelines of, well, if I did this, it could happen like that, blah, blah, blah. What if you keep thinking like that too? It can happen. Like, I've been in a position where I've thought about so many negative things about maybe just like relationships or career, timelines, whatever. And I've thought about the worst things possible, that I made it almost a duty to only see the negative aspects of that certain situation. And it did not help me. It did not help me at all, because I was a nervous wreck. I was anxiety ridden. I was just causing chaos in my head. And I was just torturing myself. It was like these inner demons, these parasites, just torturing me day in and day out. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing right now that I need to just be happy? And I mean, it's easier said than done. Everyone's different. I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and preach about like, oh, A, B, C, this is what you should do. But for myself, I knew that I needed to stop doing the same repetitious things that caused me so much anxiety and caused me to think so ahead in the future that I was being taken away from the present right now. And it was cutting out, hanging out with certain people, taking time alone and honoring that time. Because being with yourself, if you can't be alone with yourself, that is such a huge problem, truly. If you're not comfortable being by yourself, if you're constantly around your phone, if you're constantly, watching TV or being around people, even if you don't even want to be around people, but you feel like you need to, I mean, that's a sign and a half that you need to, start meditating, maybe taking deeper breaths. I mean, breath work in itself is so huge. It is vital. I mean, it controls the way that you think, and the way that you think controls the health of your body. I mean, people literally can think themselves into getting diseases, cancers. I mean, there's obviously different variants and different reasons why people get those certain, diseases and whatnot, but you can literally think yourself into those things. That's why, a lot of people, for myself, getting IBS all the time. I wake up in the morning, I immediately had a rush of feelings and thoughts that I was like, oh my God, today is this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And it went straight to my stomach, straight to the nervous system, straight to the gut, straight to the stomach. And I was like, oh God, I gotta go, I gotta go. And it was bad. I mean, like, some points I'm like, damn, I don't even know if I can, have a sleepover with a dude if I'm, having like these kind of pains in the morning, and I had to take Tums at night, immediately in the morning. And if you take too much Tums, that's calcium overload. There's side effects of that. I mean, there's just so much. But to go back to what I was saying before, yes, meditating and breath work, huge. Kundalini breath work. There's so many different lines of breath work that you can look into. So if you're curious about that, I mean, just like going on Google and, searching different techniques. Kundalini is huge. Breath of fire, one of my favorites, actually. And, just getting back into your creative mind. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. People, when they think of like, oh, an artist, like they think of painting or, drawing, but that's not, like I said, definitions could be anything that you want it to be. Art can be music. It could be going to galleries, writing songs, writing poems, Bill says so. He said, it's okay. You can do whatever you want. Create your own art. Don't define yourself in societal standards of what, things can be. And that's in, different ways of life. It doesn't have to be art specifically, but taking your own definition and just exploiting that. And I think people think too much. And I mean, I feel that too. I feel that people think too much, and I think that people think too much. I've been there so many times. And being the Gemini, the woman that I am, it's difficult to get past those thoughts of what's happening next. And being this kind of judging type of personality as well, first off, I really like taking personality tests. I think it's cool and it's fun. So I'm also an ENFJ. I tend to take it with a grain of salt. I don't like to get too deep into it, just because there's so many aspects of what makes us up as a human, how we were raised, all of that stuff. But yeah, just being in the mindset of constantly wanting to control what's happening all the time, you know, planning ahead. I mean, I like planning, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having that mentality, but when you're so consumed about like all the details that you're not even having fun. Like, there was times when I would plan a party or plan to get together, and I was so consumed by all the details of what had to be done that I wasn't even enjoying the party. I wasn't even involved in the party. I was cleaning, I was making sure that everyone was doing a certain thing, or like, oh, the games are set up over here, blah, 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 doing the music. And like, I almost had a better time setting everything up than actually experiencing it. And granted, that could be, a good thing for some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I was like, whoa, I need to chill out. Like, I need to chill, because I wasn't even experiencing that time with my friends or my family, and it took away from that moment. And we only have these moments now, and I don't want to give up that precious time. I don't want to give up the precious moments with the people that I care about because I'm consumed by my own thoughts. It's so aggravating and disheartening in a way to be so consumed by things that are totally within your control. And for so long, I thought I was out of, I don't want to say out of control, but I mean, in my mind a little bit. I was just in this darting, like just racing for the next thing. I couldn't, like, even when I was out and about, like, where are we going to next? Like, what's the plan? What are we doing? And my friends were like, Alyssa, it's gonna be okay. We're having a moment here. We're having fun, and it's all gonna be okay. I need to chill. It's all good. But altogether, surrendering into the moment, being in the present moment, and I'm sure people have heard this all the time, but it really does help to get into your senses. The body, how you feel right now, touching yourself. And that breath work too. What you see around you, what you hear. Birds, the wind, the smell when you breathe. What do you smell? Taste in your mouth. And if you're fortunate to have all of those senses, it's truly beautiful to really think about each sense specifically and break it down. And you'll find yourself almost forgetting about what you were talking about in the first place, or what you were thinking about in the first place, that was consuming your thoughts and consuming your present moment. And especially, I teach yoga, so being in yoga classes, I can always pick up on people's energy that are not in the present moment, and they're taking the time to breathe, and they're doing the poses, and they're doing everything that they need to do in that way, but I can just sense that they're not really being in the present moment and giving the opportunity to their bodies and to their minds to welcome in that moment. So it's almost like having to, for me, I like looking at each body part, and I'm grateful for my toes. I'm grateful for my feet. They help me, walk and feel the ground below and take in the energy from below. And my legs, my shins, and my bones, and I start getting into the details, my knees and my thighs and my hamstrings, and just going all the way up until the crown of your body, and going into those details of the specific parts of yourself that we need to start understanding that not everyone is fortunate enough to have all of those things. I mean, some people were either born like that, or an event happened where they might have lost the ability to have one of those senses, or they lost a limb or a body part, or something within their body. So if you're fortunate enough to have all of these things, these beautiful limbs and beautiful insides and beautiful senses of all around you, just be thankful. And that could be another way to really just dive into that surrendering moment of, God, just stop, just let it go. I mean, whatever is harboring your mind, what is it serving you? What is the purpose of that thought? Is it serving you in any sort of way besides negative emotion, negative thoughts? Is it tearing you up inside, that you're just building up and all this energy is just, it's like it's being restricted. It's coming together in this stagnant energy. And it's almost harder to have that stagnant energy coming together, like this impulsive anger or sadness or jealousy, whatever negative emotion. It's harder to have that restricted, and rather than just to let it go and be free. It's so much easier to let it go and say, okay, I'm giving this up. I'm giving this up right now because there's what is it serving me? Absolutely nothing. I'm doing it. There's nothing I could fucking do. Quite frankly, there's nothing you can do but to let it go. And depending on what you believe in, for myself, giving it to God, giving it to the universe. I mean, I think it's just such a beautiful and freeing moment to say, okay, wow, there's nothing else I can do right now but just to be here. Yes, there are things happening right now, and I'm gonna, eventually have to deal with that, but right now, I need to just chill out, breathe, relax. Because there's nothing more you can do but to let it go. It hurts when I see so many people torturing themselves like I've done with myself, and seeing them be consumed by thoughts that, you simply just can't control the things that you want to control all the time. You're in control of yourself, but you can't control other people. You can't control outcomes all the time, because that's just the world. We are ourselves, and we're blessed to be in these beautiful bodies and being able to, be in this moment, but having the mentality of control is soul-sucking. And that's why, I find so many people who, in the entertainment industry, they want more and more and more, and, more money, more likes, more views, more fans. And hey, that's your life. Go ahead, whatever. But it's a consumption of more and wanting more control that I find almost tears people apart. What is going to be enough? Infinity is infinity. Numbers don't even really exist. And when people are, chasing after money, there's no end. There is no end to money. There's no end to numbers, because it is infinite. So when is enough enough? When are your thoughts enough that you can finally be free? When is the present moment in front of you, a present, a gift, going to be enough for you? God, right now, like this moment, like with me right now in the park and people all around walking their dogs or jogging or just laying around in the grass. I saw someone earlier rolling around. I was like, hey, that was me yesterday. No judgment, my friend. You keep doing you. And it's so beautiful because those are the guaranteed moments. Those are the guaranteed happy feelings that you can get. You control that moment, and that's what you should control. The wind in your hair feeling, the weight of the world just brushing it off your shoulders feeling. A lot of people, including myself, who I've met and talked to, are so consumed by thought. They're thinkers, analytical types, logical types, and I get it completely. I understand. But they're so consumed by thoughts and, numbers or calculations or things should be like this because of blah, blah, ABC, XYZ. And I, admire those people because they have something that, I don't in a way. And that's why, everyone has certain jobs. We all have different personalities and different outlooks for a reason because we all make up this world in that way. And that's another beautiful aspect of thinking about, surrendering, that we all are placed here for a reason. If we all were the same, one, life would be boring, and two, there would be just, life would be boring. I think that's the only answer, and we wouldn't be able to live in a normal lifestyle that, God, I don't even want to think about what it would be like if things were like that. But I admire people who have those, abilities to use, rational thinking to get ahead of their emotions in a way. But as a big feeling type, personality, you can't always approach life that way. You can't always think your way out of things. You have to feel. And that's the beautiful thing about feeling, is that you're diving into your senses, diving into your body and letting go of, chaos that may be surrounding you. Like right now, there's been many instances where people have been walking around me really close and I'm still engaged with this conversation and still committed to this conversation because no matter what, like, I can't let outside influences affect what I'm doing. So altogether, just feeling and being in the present moment, sometimes that's the only way out, is to feel it out, to get into your body, to breathe, like I said, and I'll repeat it over and over again. I know I'm just repeating myself, but it's true, is just getting into that loving mindset with yourself and putting your feet in the grass and rolling around if you want to, dancing around, and getting into that art that, what you define that art to be. And, for feelers too, I see, myself getting like this a lot of the time, and a lot of people that I'm friends with as well that are such big feeler types that they let those emotions almost take over their mind, and they're so within their body that they forget to, kind of rise above and use that third eye intuition, or, use the throat to communicate what is happening. A lot of buildup of emotion can almost cause like pressure in a volcano. Like there's just so much erupting inside and churning, and eventually it just becomes too much that it explodes one day. And using that like logical thinking, it's just, honestly, it's a beautiful thing to have an equal amount of both, like that left brain, right brain ability to approach situations of, let's say your career, your family life, your relationships with a man or a woman, your friends, yourself. All together, it is all about setting yourself free, removing the shackles of societal standards placed upon every single person in this world, because truly, there are things that people don't want to talk about, they're scared to talk about, and I don't blame them. I'll be the first to say that it's kind of hard to, dive deep into those kind of conversations of the puppet masters of society and the world. Like, we think of, I live in the United States, and we think like we have our one, kind of like we're in a circus just here in America, but no, each individual country has its own circus, and they are the grand masters of planning, and they have the biggest egos of all time. And that's another aspect of surrenderism, is letting go of ego. Letting go of ego just for a split second, understanding your ego, because ego isn't all bad. I mean, ego does play a role in your life, and I think that if you use it in a healthy way, the ego of the people who are controlling the world around us, it's scary. It's scary. And I think that a lot of people who are giving into this surrenderism mindset are a lot of the times being the most attacked within the spiritual realm. And that just means, I know that sounds woo-woo to some people, but there is definitely a spiritual warfare going around us that some people can't see and or feel, but a lot of us do see and feel things. But it's about detaching from almost those abilities to feel those things or to see those things, and realizing that you were protected. And whatever belief system that you have, I believe in my shield, and I have the armor protecting me, a white light surrounding me at all times, and nothing can invade that. And the people who speak up, the other people who do podcasts and speak up, and the other people who are big into community and connectivity, it's beautiful. And there's so much that I want to say right now, but I want to save the juicy details for another time, because I can already see myself getting into a rabbit hole of different just things, and I'll save it for another time. There's so much that I want to say on this podcast, and not just myself, but the beautiful people that I've connected with over the years. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited, and I'm thankful. If you're watching this right now or listening to this right now, thank you. And for those who might have known me a long time ago, what's up? I don't really have an explanation for how I got here. I just got here. And I'm so grateful for all of the things that have happened to me, good and the bad, because I wouldn't be here in this moment, and I know I'm meant to be here for a reason. And for those who think that the universe is just the universe and we are created from nothing, we are nothing, well, shame on you, to be honest, because we are all meant to be here for a reason. We all make up this world for a reason. If one person was cut out of your life that you can think of right now, you would probably be a totally different person. Even one conversation, one run-in, like the butterfly effect is so powerful. Coincidences, divine timing. I believe in it all, baby. I do. So I'm going to leave off here, but surrenderism, think about it. Look it up yourself and find a way to just be free, because that's the start of a beautiful life, is to just not care about what anyone thinks about you anymore. Just work on yourself. Work on being a better person that you are right now. There's always an opportunity to be a better person, to be smarter in a certain subject, or to learn different things, and to try out a different, art that you wanted to do, or a sport. Like, there's just so many things that you can do to enhance where you are, level up in consciousness, like plant medicines too, if you're into that. I mean, I'm not saying like, hey, you should do that, I'm a doctor. I'm far from being a doctor. Don't take anything that I'm saying in that way like that. But if that's your thing, it's beautiful. And, you know, there's just so many things that you can do to let go, to be free. Like the other day, I was just dancing around. People were staring at me and I just didn't care. For the first time, I did not care, because what if I, died tomorrow? Like there's so mlike opportunities that I've missed out on because I was scared and I was ashamed, and oh, what if they judge me, or oh, I'm not good enough. Like you're like literally holding yourself back from opportunities for what? Because you think someone's looking at you sideways, or like there's people are so consumed within themselves that they're not even really thinking about you. We're all thinking about ourselves. Essentially, we're all thinking about ourselves, and no one's really thinking about what other people are doing. And hey, you don't know if those people that, if you're dancing around and they're watching you, maybe they're happy about that. And maybe that'll influence them to step out of their comfort zone. Like I said, the butterfly effect is so incredible. It's just, it's extraordinary how one thing can change the trajectory of your life. And I've seen people do things like that before, and it changed me. It changed the way that I view life and the way that I do things, and the way I operate. And hey, I'm learning every single day. I could do one thing today and another thing tomorrow, but it's about that goal, that discipline in your life that you need in order to be a leveled up version of yourself. You can't stay stagnant. You can't stay who you are right now. Even if you're comfortable, you can't do it. If you're comfortable with who you are right now, then you are not in the right mindset. There's always opportunity to grow. Always. Anywho, I said I was going to be done like 5 minutes ago, but this is it. This is what I want to put out into the world and talk about, is random subjects, random things that have inspired me, and have people come on to the podcast and talk about what they think is important in their life, holistic lifestyles, or just talking about their art and creativity, or the way that they like to be physically, in sports or working out, integrative medicine, everything. It is just, it's limitless. And Bill agrees. He says, yes, please continue watching, please continue listening, because there's so many fun things in store and opportunities for the viewers as well. Gifts and prizes and courses that I'm going to be personally doing myself. So follow my Instagram, my YouTube channel as well, if you're not, watching this on YouTube right now. But this is the Sacred Rebels community, and I am so interested in learning more about, everyone around me. So if you want to be on this podcast, if you're interested in joining forces and expressing how you feel, let me know. If you have my number, text me. If you have me on Instagram, DM me, email me, whatever. Let's talk. And let's talk about some real human life experiences and stuff, and just getting out of these confined moments of petty things like drama, just so much drama going on in, these reality TV shows. And hey, here and there I like, watching it, but being consumed by that is completely unhealthy. And when I hear people talking about stuff like that, I'm like, big ick. But hey, who am I to judge? That's just that's just the way I see things, and whatever. We're all able to have our own outlooks on life, and that's that. So do whatever you want. Who am I? But yeah, follow me, subscribe, like, spread the word, because this is only the beginning. And also, one more fun thing that I would love to share is the book that I just published, Beautifully Damned. This is everything. This took me a few years to write. Voices from my world, people that I've met, the experiences that I've had, the honor and the privilege to be able to, talk about people's stories that I had no idea that so many people could feel the way that they were feeling, and having so many stories. When you walk into a room and you think, wow, like, you don't really think about it at all, like what everyone's going through. You don't think that or feel that people have gone through traumatic experiences or life-altering spiritual awakenings. Like, there's so many stories that we all hold within ourselves that need to be said, and this is why I'm starting this podcast, and that's why I wrote this book, because it is about the stories about people. It is about my interpretations, and I've written them down within short stories and poems, and my personal stories, and interpreted in poems as well. So if you're a reader, or you're into audiobooks, I'm going to be coming out with the audiobook too. It's all on all platforms, so check it out. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and this is it. This is the Sacred Rebels Community channel, and I hope to see you soon.